This is the Ford Ikon, around about a 2004. You can see the driver's door handle lever has popped out. The cable actually does move on the top half and not at the door side, so the cable's obviously broken. I bought a replacement cable. We're going to walk through how to replace it and remove the old lock and replace the cable. Cable runs through here and guides through into the top of the lock. First step is obviously to remove the inner panel, which is done. It must be described in another video. Your window is obscuring the lock mechanism, so you wind the window up. It reveals what's behind. The lock mechanism here. First of all, before we remove the lock, we need to remove that guide. This is the lower guide for the window. It feeds the window and it attaches there. So we remove this screw and it's held in place by that screw. Remove those two screws and the guide slips out. The screws have been removed, so we get to slip out the bracket and we remove it. The next thing we have to do is remove the linkage from there up to that's the outer door handle. You remove that screw and that screw, and then you have to twist so that it can release from this wire. The screws are out. This enables you to manipulate. Do not break it, it's only weak plastic, but it allows you to rotate it. You rotate it downwards until that wire releases. There we go. The lock itself is this white body. Now that that's loose, that lock itself is held in with 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. Once the screws are out, the lock body can be manipulated, and we need to remove this wire. It's held on top of the clips. You can rotate it so it pops out of the clips, and then the bottom can just be removed. And there we have it. It's out. So the lock is now free. It can drop down. Now that we just need to remove the latches, get the wires free, the metal linkage is free, feed it out through the top, and this exposes the connectors on the bottom. There are 2 connectors on the bottom. This is the door open switch, the one that works the light on the dashboard. In this case, something about the latch is broken, so I need to fix it. So when I took it out of the door, it wasn't there. And here is the main switch, which I will remove. There's a release pin on the front, which 2 hands is easier than 1. The plastic for the lock body is held on with 2 screws on this side and a single screw at the bottom there. Remove them and you can remove the lock from the plastic. Screws are out. And this is the replacement part from Ford. In South African terms, it was over 1,000 rand. For that price, I expect it to be made out of gold and myrrh, but evidently not. But the scary part is, this appears to be the last one in the country, as in they couldn't replenish the stock thereafter, so I guess that's the reason for the pricing. So this car is now 16 years old, or thereabouts, and after 16 years it seems Ford doesn't believe in carrying stock and supporting their product. So looking at this now, it looks like the top of the cable is captive, and removing the screw will open up the slot and allow you to put the new cable in. Once the screw's out, the cover falls back and the cable is exposed. It can just be slid out from there, and then assembly order is the reverse. And that is where the cable broke. So that bottom piece came out there, and the top piece is a bit of a fight, but it'll come out. Maybe show removal of this fitting, because I didn't want this video to get an age restriction for profanity or excessive violence, but it's an extremely tight fit and requires an inappropriate amount of effort to get it out. This is the cable end on the door side. It appears if you just push it down, the whole piece slides out. Easy to remove. And then you just need to unclip the end of the cable where the lead lug is molded. To remove the end of the cable is fully into the lock position, and then we can push the new cable can then be slid into behind the plastic, protect the plastic of the door, and just reverse order. So insert the lug, it's kind of in the neutral position, not the lock position, and clip the red in and run down the door and do the reverse again. So the cable is fitted. I'm not sure I understand the operation, but that seems to work, and the locking, that seems to work. Okay, so when you assemble this, it's important that that red bush goes inside of the plastic slot in the position shown now. That's important for the locking mechanism to work correctly. Obviously, don't forget to thread the cable through rubber grommet and this plastic housing, or you'll have to take it apart and try again.